before you even get a job, you got to go for a medical. Before you even get an interview, you go for a medical. Once they see your medical, they then determine whether you should go for a job, whether you should get the interview or not. So once they've seen your medical, they know pollution, cancer, asthma, no, let's not employ that guy. So they don't employ the people in the local community because they know they're giving you a double dose. And if you are an employee of the company and you've been affected over the years, you've got to sign a confidential clause, washing your hands from any responsibility that the refinery must be held liable for. So there's all these things that comes to play in the area.
What is important to this community in Wentworth is that we have continual permanent labor. And what this industry has done effectively over the last 20 years is to disintegrate its labor force, put it off in terms of labor brokers. So where we had a permanent labor force of maybe 1,500 10 years ago, you got a permanent labor force of 600. And what they do is employ these guys for 3 weeks of a year to come in here and do a rush cleanup, a rush maintenance, and then these guys are unemployed for the rest of the year. And our position as Sdcea and as ground workers, that we want permanent labor with medical and housing. And that's what these corporates don't want to do. And as Fatima Mir said, these labor brokers and our brothers and sisters that end up working for these labor brokers who work for contractors who then work for Engen, we're worse than slaves. We don't have a relationship with the boss. We are slaves at least had the relationship with the master.
So petrochemical industry do not create jobs. When people say they're putting a pipeline through there and they're creating jobs, it's a myth. It's a short-term thing, about 2 months and 3 months, and after that people are unemployed for years, and then they're going to feel the health effects.
We also want to be able to bring this in line with the best in the world. And why do we have the managers of the Shell refineries and Bayer Leverkusen living next to those refineries and industries in Europe? That's what we want here. The refinery managers living here, and they'll only live here if they know that the refineries are operating on the same international standards as they do in Europe.
And they can do it. They've done it in Federation. Why can't they do it here? You know, what's the difference between the European lives and our lives? Are they treating Europe different to us? It's because they come from Europe and they're making huge profits at our expenses. We need to look at ways of how, if talking fails with these companies, and what else have we got? What other leverages do we have to put pressure on a company like Shell? The amount of criminality at the chemical industry and the petrochemical industry is much more than ordinary criminals on the street. We know that because if you equate the amount of the tons and thousands of tons of chemicals that they dump to the criminal activity of a guy stealing a chocolate or